The horns blare at 12:51 p.m. Eastern Time, and just like that, everything stopped. Fans scrambled for cover, players jogged off the course, and the Valero Texas Open, the last tournament standing between dozens of hopeful golfers and a coveted spot at the Masters, was thrown into complete disarray. This was not the first time Mother Nature had crashed the party. Just 2 days earlier, a 90-minute rain delay had pushed Thursday's opening round back nearly 2 hours. Now, on Saturday, lightning was back, and the horn was blowing again, halting the second round with players still scattered across TPC San Antonio. Robert McIntyre had already finished, his lead safe inside the clubhouse. Ludwig Aberg was still out there. And for the players still grinding to protect their positions, the interruption could not have come at a worse time, because the Masters was not some distant dream on the calendar. It was days away. The week had started with so much promise. Thursday morning greeted the field with light winds, soft greens, and ideal scoring conditions. Mark Hubbard came out blazing, posting a 7 under 65 built on 6 birdies across his final 8 holes. Tony Finau, a man with everything to prove and an Augusta invitation riding on a win, matched the energy with a 6 under 66 of his own. The leaderboard was deep, the atmosphere was electric, and it felt like the kind of week that would produce a memorable champion. Then the skies darkened, the lightning moved in, and the round was suspended. Play eventually resumed, but darkness arrived before the final 24 players could finish, forcing them to return Friday morning to complete their opening rounds before turning right back around to begin their second. Friday brought brief relief and then more frustration. The first round wrapped up in under an hour that morning, and the second got underway as scheduled. For a while, everything felt normal again. McIntyre was electric, carding an 8 under 64 without a single bogey to vault to 14 under par, a tournament record. His ball striking was precise, his putting was dialed in, and his 4-shot lead over Aberg felt commanding. Finau added to the drama by draining a walk-off eagle on the 18th hole to move into a tie for third. Then, at exactly 12:51 in the afternoon, the horn sounded again. Another lightning suspension. Another scramble. When play resumed, the course had transformed entirely. The greens softened, the wind changed direction, and what had been a firm, fast layout became something much more gettable and unpredictable all at once. The stakes hanging over all of this weather chaos cannot be overstated. The Valero Texas Open is the last stroke play event on the PGA Tour before the Masters, and its champion receives an automatic invitation to Augusta National. For players who are not already exempt, a win here is the difference between walking the most famous fairways in golf and watching from home. Finau, 36 years old and a 7-time Masters participant, had not earned an exemption this year and desperately needed a victory. Ricky Fowler, 37, had not played at Augusta since 2020 and had been grinding through the Korn Ferry Tour, trying to rediscover his best golf. Tom Kim, just 23 and a 2-time PGA Tour winner, had never experienced the Masters and was chasing the kind of moment that defines careers. Each of them understood that one good week could change everything. Beyond the contenders at the top, the weather had also thrown the cut line into chaos. Players who believed they were safely through to the weekend were no longer certain. Others who thought their tournament was over suddenly had reason to hope. Caddies who had seen every variety of difficult conditions shook their heads at the combination of delays, suspended rounds, and schedule compression. Officials worked overtime trying to manage logistics that grew more complicated by the hour. The forecast for Saturday offered no comfort, calling for additional storms and raising the very real possibility that the tournament might not finish on schedule at all. Through it all, Augusta National broke from its usual silence. The Masters Tournament Committee, an institution not known for commenting on the outside world, issued a rare public statement acknowledging what was unfolding in San Antonio. The committee expressed its wishes for the players competing for the final spot in the Masters field and spoke to the values of preparation, patience, and perseverance that have always defined the tournament. The statement was measured and deliberate, short on specifics, but heavy with meaning. Augusta does not speak unless it feels the moment demands it. That it chose to speak it all told the golf world everything it needed to know about how closely the Masters was watching. Finau called it meaningful. Analysts called it a reminder that Augusta operates on a different level entirely. McIntyre, for his part, remained composed through every delay and disruption. The 29-year-old Scotsman had already proven himself across multiple tours and had won on American soil, but this week felt different, bigger, louder. His 14-under total stood as a testament to how well he had played when conditions allowed, and his demeanor in the aftermath of each suspension suggested someone who was not going to let the circumstances rattle him. Aberg, for shots back and still dangerous, had been exactly what his game always is: steady, efficient, and difficult to shake. And Finau, lurking 3 shots further back, had reminded everyone with that eagle putt that he still had the kind of closing gear that wins tournaments. The Valero Texas Open has been part of the PGA Tour since 1922, and its history is filled with names that went on to reshape the sport. Arnold Palmer won here. Ben Hogan won here. Jordan Spieth claimed his breakthrough victory at TPC San Antonio before going on to win 3 majors in 2 years. The tournament does not always get the attention it deserves, tucked as it is in the shadow of the first major of the year, but its significance to the players chasing Augusta is immeasurable. The 2026 edition, battered by storms and stretched across what felt like an entire week of suspended play, will be remembered differently than most. Not for its conditions, or its gallery, or its broadcast numbers, but for the sheer tension of watching talented golfers fight against everything at once: the weather, the schedule, the pressure, and the awareness that Augusta was waiting just days away on the other side. A champion would eventually be crowned. That champion would make the drive to Augusta, slip into a practice round, and stand on the first tee Thursday morning alongside the best players in the world. For every other competitor still grinding at TPC San Antonio, the margin between that dream and disappointment often came down to a single shot, a single red on a slick putt, a single decision on a difficult lie. That is the cruelty and the beauty of tournament golf at its most compressed and consequential. The Masters begins Thursday. The azaleas will be blooming, the patrons will be filing through the gates, and the world will turn its full attention to Augusta National. But a piece of that story was written first in San Antonio, in the rain and the lightning and the long waits, by players who refused to stop competing no matter what the sky had in mind.